Hello, this is Dr. Jason Munsell. It is almost 3 o'clock, Monday, June 26th, our very last week together. Got just a few extra things for you, as I said I would, in the syllabus and then the emails I've been sending you. First, I want to reiterate the deadlines for various things, though deadlines and due dates don't seem to be something many of you are, or a few of you are concerned about. Tomorrow, Tuesday, I expect at some point for you to upload, put a link of your YouTube speech on the forum, and I have today's forum is for you to do that, though of course it's not due until tomorrow. I've also put on our KC Shell a little thing from a wiki likes about how to create a YouTube account, just in case you haven't figured that out yet with some of the other stuff that I put on KC earlier in the semester. And so also I have some more specific things on KC to show you numerically exactly how I'm going to grade the two upcoming assignments. And I will talk a little bit about Chapter 9 and give you some sort of online lecture about some of the legal stuff. So, your speeches are due by the end of the day tomorrow, which means I probably, it's 11:59, which means I won't look at them, obviously, until Wednesday. But I do expect them all when I get up Wednesday morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. I usually get up about 6 or so. I want to see those links so I could start watching these things. I'm really quite excited. I know you can't see that. And so what I'm asking you to do for this particular thread, the second to last thread, is to post yours, obviously, and watch one other speech and respond to it, just like you normally do. You respond to my prompt and then you respond to one other person. Then by Friday morning, your letter to the editor is due. And I've also put some new stuff on KC to help you with that. The letter to the editor is always going to be somewhat contextual. That is, there's no exact way to do it because it sort of depends on the periodical or the newspaper that you want to send your letter to, if you decide you actually want to send it. And by the way, the YouTube stuff, if you do a little bit of research and try to figure it out, you can do things public or private. If you want it to be completely private, you don't want anybody else to see your stuff, you can just tell me and then allow me to watch it and nobody else. That's cool, and we'll figure out the post thing. And then, of course, the rest of the threads, the tweets, and the final journal, Everyday Activism Journal entry is due Saturday morning by 8 a.m. or by noon, because I need to get the grades in. My grades are going to be due. I can't take anything after Saturday noon. Nothing. Okay. Because I know some of you somebody's in California. I can't remember. My wife's in California, actually. She reminded me yesterday. She goes, I'm going to California tomorrow for a week. And I was, yeah, I remembered. But in any case, big week, last week. Here's some stuff that I've put up for today, some very specific things that will help you in light of some of the things I'm asking you to do in the letter, the style of writing. I've also put, again, two other things here about specifically numerically how I'm going to grade the YouTube speech and how I'm going to grade the letter, and that should be somewhat helpful, though again, a lot of it is redundant. I've said this stuff over and over again. Okay, so the extra stuff that I'd like to talk about just a little bit. Stuff again is a little bit redundant, but maybe repetition is sort of sometimes the repetition and revision is the key to success. I think the research says that people don't remember things or get things until they hear it like a bajillion times or 9, something like that. Okay, so again, see the extra handout on the YouTube stuff. What I'm using to grade is just the typical and traditional 5 canons of rhetoric that I have previously discussed. Invention, and that is inventing sort of your ideas. And so implicit, obviously, in your YouTube speech is going to be the rhetorical package, that I get a sense what your goal is, what your message is, that you're considering the audience, that you understand the genre or the context of the situation, the YouTube speech, all that type of stuff. Also, one thing that's really important to me, because oftentimes YouTube speeches are story-like, is that you use narrative and that you think about emotion and you try to inspire folks in part through stories, because stories are inspirational or can be inspirational depending on the story. One of the things that actually is not in our book, but the other book, when Doug Ondio in his Rhetoric for Radicals talks about issues of story. Stories oftentimes take on a particular tone. They're a little bit different, and politicians do this all the time. And so, again, you're not necessarily a politician, but you are dealing with some of this stuff. It's sort of a frame of thinking about things. I mean, it's sort of stories always have a plot, right? So you got characters, you got action, what people are doing, you got where they are, you got oftentimes conflict resolution. There's always going to be some sort of plot. And guidelines, I mean, you want to be dramatic and aesthetic. You want to be, that is, aesthetic. Let me tell you a little story about a man named Jed type thing. You want it to be well organized. You want to be sort of emotional and passionate. Use vivid and descriptive language. Write for the senses. Oftentimes we call those word pictures. What does it smell like, sound like, all taste like, and touch? Create little wow moments. Can you believe that? So, I mean, there's lots of different things that you can do. But really, like for instance, let's say you're giving I'm going to pick a random topic that nobody's doing, I don't think. I don't think anybody's specifically doing anything that's environmental. So, water. There's a lot of folks out there who don't have clean water. And obviously, if this was my topic, I'd have to do a whole lot of research and everything like that. But, if I was using the motivated sequence, sort of talking about the problem, I could have a very specific example through a narrative. Let me tell you a story about a child in X country. And I can narrate the problems, how he or she doesn't have clean water, the consequences of that, blah, blah,